So I've got good news and bad news. The good news is the world is starting to learn about NFTs. Exciting projects are being launched every day and more digital artists are earning money from their work than ever before. The less good news is people have very strong opinions about NFTs. And those opinions are mixed.
This technology is, at its very core, so pointless.
The NFT market is on absolute fire right now.
Nothing makes people hate you faster than NFT shilling.
It's the biggest technology that's ever happened in the history of life.
Yet to find actual use for this technology.
You don't want to keep like 100 sneakers in your house if you're a sneakerhead. Why not just collect the NFTs, buy and sell the NFTs?
The NFT bros have actually climbed the ladder of the most cringe community out on the internet right now.
They're terrible people.
I want to dig through the cursed swamp that is NFT discourse and see what I can learn about the technology for myself, but also what I can learn about people. Wouldn't want to let my 3-year undergrad in anthropology go completely to waste. As with most things, the truth is far more nuanced and interesting than the internet would lead you to believe. But put on your gumboots, because it's still going to get pretty muddy. So if you're looking for a video that tells you NFTs are the root of evil, or tells you that NFTs are the solution to all your problems, you've probably come to the wrong place. But if you're someone who's just trying to wrap their head around this technology, we might be on the same page. Let's start small, then move up toward the bigger picture and vision. I made a whole video explaining NFTs in an easy to understand way, but in a sentence, NFTs are digital certificates that let you undeniably prove who owns a digital asset. That digital asset can be anything, from an artwork to a title deed for a house. From this very, very basic description, we already meet our first online debate. NFT hypebeasts will tell you that the blockchain is immutable, that it's impossible to delete or alter a piece of NFT art after you buy it. Hodl, to the moon, etc. I've been finding though, now that people are starting to understand NFTs and blockchain more and more, they're critiquing these claims, and rightfully so. Well, sort of. People are saying that although the NFT, the certificate of ownership, will exist forever, the actual asset it's pointing to won't. They often say that NFTs just point to Google Drive folders, that people can pull the rug by selling you a certificate of ownership which points to an empty folder. So the reality is that this happens, but it's not the only way it can or does happen. There's a system called IPFS, the Interplanetary File System, which stores files on a peer-to-peer network similar to a blockchain. All NFT marketplaces worth anything use services like IPFS to make sure that the NFT seller can't just go and delete the NFT's file after they've sold it. On IPFS, no one can alter the file after it's been stored there. This argument that NFTs are certificates that point to nothing probably came from a CoffeeZilla video where a self-proclaimed performance artist explained that NFTs are like buying a map to something that doesn't exist. This is simply false.
They sell the database entry on blockchain, and blockchain is immutable and it cannot be updated, but they host the image elsewhere, say on Google Photos or Google Drive.
Scammers can try and sell you a map to non-existent treasure, but if you know about IPFS and decentralized file systems, you'll know not to buy them. All good NFTs are maps that lead you to treasure which cannot be sneakily moved around after the fact. The next biggest discussion is around the environmental impact of NFTs. The biggest critique goes something like, NFTs are bad for the environment. Simple as that. Ethereum, which is the blockchain that many NFTs use, is incredibly inefficient in its energy consumption. It uses a proof-of-work system, which wastes a huge amount of electricity. Because our global electricity system relies on fossil fuels, this means Ethereum has a pretty big carbon footprint. But, and this is the biggest but of this video, there are other better blockchains. XDAI, for example, the blockchain that Momint is built on, uses a proof-of-stake system, which is exponentially more energy efficient, with some estimates even saying XDAI transactions are even better for the environment than swiping a Visa card. Even the crypto giant that is Ethereum is planning to adopt this model by the end of 2022. We need to keep putting pressure on these systems so that they get better. But don't forget that this tech is very, very young. Now is when we start getting a little bit philosophical. A critique I keep hearing is that NFTs are ugly.
Crypto kitties look more like rats to me with their tapered bodies and perfectly circular eyes. Bored Apes designs are off-putting and have anatomical detail in all the wrong places.
Generally extremely fugly.
Now, the easy, obvious answer that most Twitter stans will give you is art is subjective. It's a taste thing. If you don't like it, don't buy it. NFTs can be anything, so some NFT art is ugly, some isn't. But I think there's actually a bigger, more interesting answer here. The people who invented this technology weren't traditional artists. They were coders. So it makes sense that the very first NFT projects aren't these beautifully, conceptually perfect masterpieces. Like the NFT art market as a whole, they're proof of concepts. The media headlines that hyped up these insane purchase prices didn't help the idea that NFTs are a money-grabbing scheme for the 1%. And people are worried that by forcing scarcity, we are just moving towards an overly commodified free market metaverse that would make Maggie Thatcher jump for joy.
The end goal of this infinite machine is the financialization of everything. Any benefits of digital uniqueness end up being a quirk, a necessary precondition of turning everything into a stock market.
These are valid worries, but we mustn't forget that, except maybe for military technology, no technology is inherently bad or good. It's just about how we use it. The sad and obvious reality of our world is that whenever a new technology emerges, the first people to grab onto it are those looking to make money off of it and take advantage of people who don't understand it yet. But we can't let these people define the technology. Decentralized certificates of ownership can help us track supply chains to enforce ethical trade. They can help small digital artists make a living for the first time, and they can allow us to own things in a digital world that forces us to rent everything. If you pay for Photoshop, it will stop working when you stop paying. You don't own your music either. Spotify is lending you their music. There are even some serious academics who propose that the decentralized nature of blockchain has underlying socialist values. What Steve Huckle and Martin White call the cooperative, consensus-driven model of collaboration. Whether or not the blockchain will escape the clutches of hyper-capitalist stock market bros is a topic best left for people much smarter than myself. But the point here is that although the technology has been used for pump and dump schemes, it can and is being used for so much more. It helps to call out the people who are misusing this technology for profit. But you know what's not going to help? Twitter mobs. I know, this is a steaming hot take, but it's still important to mention that generalizing is dangerous. It doesn't make sense to blindly buy whatever trendy NFT project the crypto bros happen to be shilling today. The same way it doesn't make sense to cancel and attack creators for experimenting with NFTs. If you think someone is doing a low-effort cash grab, then say so. But we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater and attack anything just because it has these 3 letters attached to it. Because then we're criticizing the bad use of a technology without allowing people to use it better. NFT and blockchain technology is being used in gross cash grabby ways, but the solution isn't to cancel the underlying technology. The solution is to encourage people to use it in better ways and to penalize those who take advantage of others. It's clear that NFT technology isn't going anywhere, so shouldn't we be learning as much as we can about it to ensure that it helps us instead of hurts us? Thanks so much for watching. If I said something you disagree with, please feel free to cancel me in the comments. I look forward to arguing with as many of you as possible. And if you think there's something specific I should go into in future videos, let me know. Share this video with someone who you think might benefit from hearing my take.